Well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this new episode of Inspiring Our World. My name is Julie Tara. I'm your Nikken Wellness Ambassador and the host of this podcast, which I love doing because I get to interview the most marvelous people ever. And today you're going to be very excited because I have a wonderful friend and a huge contributor to Nikken on the call with me, Jeremy Madvin. Madvin. My gosh, it's such a great name. I don't even know where Madvin comes from. Where does it come from, Jeremy?
It actually comes from Eastern Europe. So,
Really?
oh yeah, so generations and generations ago, my grandparents came out from the Belarus area, actually, which we just found out. We had to actually do a search, through the Ellis Island
Wow.
records. Yeah.
I love it. I love it that just came right out of the chute here.
Yeah.
Well, I want to tell our audience a little about you, Jeremy, before we start, because I want them to know who you are and what a major impact you have in our Nikken world. So let me talk about that a little bit. Jeremy is the product development and manufacturing specialist of Nikken's Kenko Precision Set. I love it. KenkoGround pad. Use it all the time, night and day, duct tape, jewelry, and much more. Let me tell you about him. Jeremy is the founder and current CEO of Zeta Technology Group, a manufacturer and FDA registered developer of health-related products, including all these things that we just mentioned. A native of Los Angeles, California, Jeremy has degrees in political science and philosophy from the University of New Mexico, a master's in business administration from the University of Redlands, as well as additional academic achievements from noted universities such as UCLA, USC, and the University of Maryland. I know I don't say Maryland right. You say it differently in America. I say Maryland. It's how I say it. Forgive me.
I think you said it very well.
Did I? Okay. As a recognized business and marketing consultant, Jeremy has focused on servicing international government agencies and suppliers, as well as helping companies develop, purchase, and sell products on every continent. He has been awarded several patents for health, wellness, and medical devices, and successfully helped launch more than 3,000 industrial, medical, and consumer products. Now, if that isn't impressive to all of you listening, I don't know what is. But when I learned all that, I was like, Jeremy, you're amazing. You are brilliant. You're a genius. And I want to hear your story.
Okay, well, that a genius is a little strong, but I have been doing this a long time, and I've been working with Nikken for decades. For decades. Originally, after I graduated from university, I worked in the field of electron devices, which are commonly used in a lot of different medical equipment, MRI equipment, X-ray, and so on. I went to go work for Nikken. I was actually hired in as a product manager to manage the sleep line. So I focused on the pads and
wow,
the other sleep technology.
This is in the 90s, maybe.
This was in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. This was during the heyday. And then my responsibilities kind of bled out, and I wound up managing all of the various categories of Nikken's products, eventually including the nutritionals and the fashion and everything else.
I am wearing your jewelry, if you noticed.
The Hoshi, it's gorgeous.
I love it. I wear the earrings, the necklace. I get all these compliments when I go out wearing this. I'm not kidding. Even in shops, people say, what is that? That's beautiful. Where'd you get that? And I go, well, it's really special.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And really, that particular piece does a wonderful job of blending Eastern and Western tastes. It really is sort of a Japanese feng shui style that we built Nikken's core technologies into and adjusted the style a little bit for Western taste, but it's a perfect blend of the East and West.
Actually, it really is. And since I've always been involved with Taoism, yin and yang, right? That works for me. That works very well. I like the simplicity, I like the beauty, but I like the little bit of sparkle along with it.
Yeah, looks great.
Thanks.
Yeah, and at this point, Nikken, the jewelry has actually been a really, really strong category for Nikken. And it's allowed for just tremendous creativity and tremendous input from everywhere. So, when Nikken comes up with designs for jewelry, the ideas come from the field, the ideas come from the customer service department, from management, from, all over. It's really a collaborative process to put together the various styles of jewelry that Nikken rolls out.
I love to know that. That's really fascinating because I didn't know that. So going back, well, I have so many questions to ask you about how you sort of got involved in this whole world in the first place. Like what took you there in terms of fascination? But also when you found Nikken, did Nikken find you? Did you find Nikken? How did that work?
I found Nikken. I was actually introduced to June Dillon, who was
yes,
yeah, that's a name from the past. She was really a wonderful marketing manager, and we hit it off. And she's the one that brought me in as a product manager. And I think when I left, I was actually the manager of product growth and development. That was my official title. So we had 6 product managers working underneath me during the heyday. There were 6 product managers there.
I think we're going to move into a new heyday. I'm just going to say, I really believe more than ever right now, the world is like paying attention to self-care. And Nikken is such an answer to self-care day and night. I think we're going to go into a new heyday. I really do.
Oh, absolutely. And Nikken was way ahead of its time.
Yes.
A few decades ago, Nikken seen the needs and those needs have just increased. The way that the world has continued to evolve, Nikken's products really fill a lot more gaps now than they did back then.
Absolutely. And especially since the last few years, the awareness of keeping strong, keeping healthy, keeping a vibrant immune system, all of that is just come to the fore like never before. So I feel excited because, you say like ahead of its time. And it's interesting because, I started with macrobiotics in my early 20s. And even vegetarianism in my teen years when I was dancing with Dutch National Ballet, and there was a woman who was a full-on vegetarian. I was like, how do you have the energy to dance? And she started teaching me, about vegetable proteins, and you don't need animal and all these things. And with macrobiotics as well, I was like so ahead of my time. And I had a healing center in the early 90s. So ahead of my time. It's been a blessing and a challenge.
Yeah. And the world is just starting to catch up.
It is. And I'm so happy about that because I love people and I love our environment and I love the whole idea of the harmony with nature that really sings to my soul. I've always felt super connected to the environment, to Gaia herself, our planet. Mm-hmm. And I think the more we appreciate how our planet and us are synergistic, work together, the more we'll take care of the planet, and then the more the planet can take care of us.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah, super important. So, let's go back to your brain. I want to know, okay, and your heart, and how did you? How old were you when you started going? Okay, what's this with energy? How does this?
I was just a kid. I mean, I've always been fascinated with the way things work, and I've always been fascinated with how the human body heals itself, and that's what threw me into the medical device industry originally. It's always just been fascinating to me how people can actually innovate and help right the wrongs that our bodies, but there are so many deficiencies that our bodies are suffering from. that we can control, that we can actually build into the evolution of our lifestyles. So
beautifully said, Jeremy. Now I'm going to ask you, because a lot of times people get into health, natural health, and figuring this out because they've been sick, or they have family members that were sick as a kid. Did that happen with you, or no?
No, not so much. I've been extraordinarily fortunate that the people around me have been healthy and happy, and
good,
and that they take the care to understand how to lead a healthy life.
Yes. So this seems then it was more of a soul calling, I'm going to say, or a destiny pattern for you.
Yeah, it was. There was really a gravitational pull that kind of pulled me in this direction. It wasn't so much by choice. It was really an organic journey that led me here.
I always feel like that's very magical because I'm always fascinated by people's soul journey, and I do feel we are called to certain things that we may have never thought we would be called to, but I love how you said that. This is like gravitational pull, and I think that's exactly how it works. And then you see this kind of fit, and you go, oh, well, that's sort of perfect for my interests and my talents and my everything.
Yeah, and I've never felt anything good comes from fighting that gravitational pull. If the gravitational pull is there, there's a reason for it. And in my case, it's taken me to good places.
I love that. I think it does take us to good places when we trust in that inner pull, that inner voice, that however we experience it. I get it often through dreams, and when I coach people, that's where I really go to is, okay, where is that gravitational pull? Because usually it tracks back to when you're a kid.
Yeah.
What does that make you think of? Something made you laugh there.
Well, no, it's true. I mean, it's because it starts at a very early age. People are born with certain proclivities, and if they allow their journey to take them where sort of like the path of least resistance, or the Taoist way of thinking about, you had mentioned that you're a Taoist, so just being a pebble in the river. If you allow the river to take you to where the river's supposed to take you, life is good. And if you fight it, then you wind up sitting on the shore somewhere. I think that there really is just a natural path to harmony, to living your life in a harmonious way.
Oh, that's beautifully said, Jeremy. Thank you for saying that. I'm reading a book right now. It's called Daily Rituals, and it's about creative people, famous people, composers, writers, and how they work basically. What is their ritual? Do they work in the morning? Do they work at night? Are they drinking wine all night long? Whatever it is, and everybody has these kind of rituals. But it's fascinating because they're all called to, and there's philosophers, and there's, amazing people, composers that I've loved all my life, people like Gustav Mahler, and there's obviously Mozart and Beethoven and all that too. But it's been really an education to read about how they figured out how to bring forth that innate love and gift that they're here to bring. Right.
Yeah. And I think that pull is a real thing. It's a real thing for most of us, if not all of us. It really is.
So on your journey, you went through, you got all these different degrees and accreditations and so forth. And what did that look like?
What did it look like? I think it was just like that part was just a standard routine thing. So I graduated from high school, wanted to go to university out of state, and I had family on faculty at the University of New Mexico, so I was able to go there as a resident, actually. So I was able to go, I lived in California, I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I was able to go to the University of New Mexico as a resident of the state. The budget was right. And and as you had mentioned, I studied political science, I studied philosophy, and they had a really, really strong philosophy department at UNM at the time. And I fell in love with that whole arena of things, just fell in love with it. But it, practically speaking, it wasn't great for career training.
Yeah. I can imagine.
It wasn't exactly a training program.
It's like being a poet. Like, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. A parent's worst dream, my parents' worst nightmare. But I do think that studying philosophy adds to building your hard drive. I think it does help people understand the universe a little bit more, understand the questions behind the universe a little bit more clearly. And
yes, well, it gives you a much broader context, and if you have a broad context, then you can go into your content and intent in life.
Right, exactly. And then after finishing my bachelor's degree, I needed training, so that's when I started to study business and got my degree in international business administration.
Wow, well done. And you felt like, okay, that because that gave you a really important piece of the puzzle, didn't it, for your future?
Yeah, it really did. So, I studied the abstract when I was young, and then I studied, concrete. And then my MBA was really for training, that really it was. That was for my career, and trying to understand how to turn abstract into reality.
Yes.
And I sort of fell in love with that notion of turning abstract into reality. And that's when I went into product development, because that's essentially all it is. Product development, at least the aspect of product development that I fell in love with. You have all these really abstract ideas, and everyone's got these abstract ideas. It's turning it into reality that, in my case, I thought that's where the meaning was,
Well, it's so whole brain is what's coming to me. It's like so whole brain, and it's why I feel like you have so much genius that you bring, because in a way you're bringing the invisible into the visible. You could say you're taking higher dimensions and bringing them into this dimension, 3D.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like that with, every product that you see on the shelf has, there was someone behind that product that put blood, sweat, and tears into it, that loved it, that, brought it to life. It really is like having children in some weird way. When you turn nothing into something, and then you actually see it out there, with a life of its own. It's there's something to that.
It's so beautiful. I mean, I'm thinking of Leonardo now. I saw an exhibit from his work just not too long ago, and just how he was doing that, in terms of flight, say, for instance, and following birds, and then the drawings, and then moving that into some real, like, well, why can't we fly? They can fly. Why can't we fly?
Yeah.
Or Michelangelo with the I saw David in the rock, and just had to get him freed, basically. I mean, I like that.
Yeah. It's a creative process.
Yeah.
It really is.
And we are very blessed that we get to benefit from your creativity, and your ability to bring these invisible energies of nature into technologies like this. Like, I use this all the time, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I love your new precision set.
This set is actually years in the making. It's years in the making. So Nikken had worked with grounding technologies in the past. With the KenkoGround pad was Nikken's first grounding product, and it did well, and it was really, really well constructed. We had developed some new technologies for the production of it, including this ionization process to make the threads conductive, and then we were able to coat the threads with this Teflon-like material so that it was durable and safe, and it was really groundbreaking in a number of ways. And we were able to take that really steep learning curve and apply it to these new grounding products. And again, it took years, and it's the people from 4 continents involved in the development of it.
Really?
So yeah.
Which continents? Which continents?
Which continents?
Yes.
We had people in Europe, we had people in North America, we had people in various parts of Asia, and it was just a group effort with some really, really strong minds behind it. Because with the precision set, it's not just, what we did was we took this general grounding concept and we reconstructed it and evolved it into this whole new category of biophysics. These products actually represent a new approach to massage. They really do. It's not just grounding, it's called precision grounding. And with precision grounding, let me start here. People are basically capacitors, right? So people will come into contact with energy and will actually absorb that energy, and the energy level can actually increase and increase and increase. And what grounding does is it allows people to release all of that excess energy, all of that excess voltage, and deposit it into the earth, right? So grounding, and a synonym for grounding is earthing, for that reason. So, all of your excess energy can actually be physically deposited into the earth, and ions from the earth, in exchange, flood your body during the process, which is great, and there are all kinds of clinicals out there, and there's a lot of, and there's the pool of clinicals, and the pool of information is accumulating relatively rapidly in this specific area of therapeutics. With precision grounding, you can actually choose the precise spot of energy exchange. So if my body is carrying around 3 volts of energy, as opposed to a fraction of a volt, which is what our bodies are designed to carry, the earth has a fraction of a volt that it carries, and throughout the history of creatures, including people, our body voltage is supposed to match the earth's voltage. But if I'm carrying around 3 volts of energy, it's a lot of strain on your cells, and by touching your body, you create this exchange of energy through that precise point. So all of the excess energy from your body is passing through the exact point that you're touching. In the case of the wand, that point is 4 or 5 millimeters. It's a very, very precise part of your body that all of this, that is a gateway for this voltage to pass through, as well as a very precise location for the Earth's electrons, for the Earth's ions to pass into your body.
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing. Biophysics is like, because one of the things I've loved looking into is biomimicry, which is really what you're talking about, is like finding those ways. And by the way, I have my grounding mat right here under my computer, and I don't use a computer without it, with my forearms on it all the time. I like it better that way than under my feet, because I'm in Colorado and in the winter it's cold. And I know I have to be fair skinned, but I have been fascinated just feeling the beauty of these. And I don't have it plugged in right now, only because I have my mic plugged in, so I can't do everything all at once to my computer. But and I just have to say, just from an aesthetic point of view, I really love the way this is packaged as well. I know that's not that important. It's the power of the technology, of course, but I do love how this is done and how they sit in here, and it was just beautiful. I was just captivated. I couldn't wait to get my own, and I use it every day.
I do as well. Yeah, it's just one of those products that belongs on everybody's desk.
Yes.
It really does. And you know, they're easy to use yourself. It's one of the few massage therapy devices that it's actually registered with the FDA as a massage therapy device. And it's one of those few devices that you can use yourself, and between the two devices, you can use on any part of your body at various depths. So the sphere is fantastic for larger, flatter areas like your arms, your legs, your hips, and so on. And then the wand for precise areas. You can get into the joints with it. You can hit pretty much any spot with real precision, safely.
Amazing. Like Jeremy, I mean, I have to ask you because I don't know, but is there any other product like this on the market?
No. Nikken is the only company with this product. Not just with this product, but with this, with a precision grounding technology built into it. All of the other grounding products out there are just general grounding. You don't actually get to choose the point where you get the additional stimulation that is created by your own body. You know, there's no outside electricity. There's no outside power source, no batteries, no nothing. All of the electrical stimulation that your tissue gets from this is created by your own body and created by the earth. So
well, it sounds incredibly good for de-stressing, because if we've got this excess voltage, we need to alleviate that and get rid of it, and that just to me feels like an instant de-stress.
Yeah, absolutely. At the cellular level, it really is. I mean, if you think about carrying around all of these extra volts, you know, in your body, of course it creates additional stress on your body. Of course it does. I mean, how can it not?
And yet we don't know that, right? We're not really aware. I got this image now of the frog in the water, that slowly the water starts to be heated, and the frog doesn't really get that the water's heating and heating till it's boiling, and then it dies.
Right.
It's a horrible thought, and who would ever do such a thing? But I do think, I mean, sometimes, you know, when you go into a hotel and you walk on the carpet and you get a shock and you're like, oh, what the heck was that? You know, and then you realize that we're energy, we're electrical beings. I mean, and this is something that is endlessly fascinating to me from when I first started my journey with macrobiotics, because that's all about the energy of the universe. It's not just about food. People think it's just about food, but it really isn't. It's about the energy of the food, but it's about the energy of everything, and how do we balance the yin and the yang, and how do we know when we need more yin, more yang, you know? So those are the principles. It's, you know, the laws of the universe is what I studied at 23, because I was like, tell me about this. I want to know, because I had seen a lot of illness in my family, and I felt like what I was seeing was people didn't have any tools to get back to the natural ways that we're just meant to live. And that was sort of my quest, you know. And it was always, hey, mommy, let's go back. Let's go in nature. Because if we're going in nature, you're going to feel better. Sunshine, right. Trees, wind, sounds, rivers, and the earth, our beautiful planet.
Right. Exactly. And we've strayed so far from it. You know, we really have as a species. We really have strayed away from, you know, our natural environment, especially when people first started walking the planet. Our natural environment was designed, intentionally or not, to support life. It really was. And
exactly the word that came in my mind too, support. When you were searching for it, I was like, yes, support life. And then you said it. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, the earth was just the perfect environment for it. And now, you know, over the course of the last 500 years, the magnetic charge that the earth generates has been cut in half. You know, our atmosphere has changed the way that our bodies receive light energy. and heat energy. We're separated from the earth, so we no longer are naturally grounded. So as a result, our lifestyles have evolved in such a way that we suffer from these deficiencies of the traits that the earth used to, we used to benefit from all of this nutrition that the earth would give us just naturally. Like we could just exist, and we would naturally be grounded until people started wearing shoes and living in houses and building streets. So I really do think that, and not only that, but just in terms of the general atmosphere, we live in a electrical cesspool. There's just so much garbage that we're bombarded with day in and day out, and
yes,
some of it's good, some of it is far from good.
Yes.
And it's invisible to us.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. It's this sort of massive divorce from nature. We've disconnected, and we're ailing as a result. And I'm remembering when I first started. I don't know why I'm bringing macrobiotics in, but it led me to Nikken because it was so interconnected. But I remember initially learning about getting up early and walking barefoot on the grass when the dew was still there, because the dew would make it more conductive, and that it would really be healthy for your whole body and kidneys and everything. And I was telling you before we started the podcast, like every morning, now that it's warmer here, I can't do it in the winter so much, but every morning I go and sit outside, my feet on the earth, and then I just let the early morning sun come in, because I know it has a huge beneficial effect. So coming through my eye, I don't have my eyes open sometimes for just a couple of minutes, but then I close my eyes and I get as much skin exposure as I can, so that I get all that vitamin D and everything else, and it just sets up my day. And then I'm listening to subliminals, and then I'm like super happy. I'm like, okay, ready for the day,
Yeah.
And then I have all my Nikken products. And of course I slept on my Nikken products at night, so I already woke up feeling full of energy. But that's still something I do, go into nature just to reconnect. And the other thing I remember learning back then was, before we had Nikken technologies to help us with this, was to sleep with your head to the north, because then the flow of the magnetic field of the earth would be flowing correctly through us. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Well, I don't think about that now, because I have my Nikken Kenko Fit, on the bed, and my comforter and my pillow, which I love, and my Nakura pillow. I sleep is huge for me. I love sleeping, and I sleep like a baby, and I think it's good. It's good for our beauty.
Yeah, it's try living without good sleep. It's
impossible.
Yeah.
So what else would you like to tell us about before we have some time? So where would you like to go?
Well, I don't know. I could talk about the Precision Set a little bit more. Should I talk about how it's made, or?
Yes, do it. Yeah.
Okay. So the sphere, the ball itself starts off as a block of metal. This is not a molded part. This starts off as a block of metal. We actually shave it down. It's called billet, and we turn it into a perfect sphere. And it's precision work. And then we add several really high power neodymium magnets, sort of strategically placed. They're about 2,500 Gauss, or they're a minimum of 2,500 Gauss. And the way that they work, I don't know if you remember the original Mag Boys.
Yes, of course.
When you spin the Mag Boys, you remember how it would throw the magnetic field?
Yes.
These do the same kind of thing. So when you roll it on your body, the field is actually being thrown so that it carries a little bit deeper than just a regular stationary static magnet would. And that was done with intent and with solid engineering behind it. The silicone is a really high quality I don't know if I can say medical grade silicone, but it's the silicone. The quality of silicone is designed for medical applications. It's a really, really pure, safe form of silicone. And in the silicone, we infuse it with ceramic reflective materials. So it shares those same properties as so many other Nikken products. It was really designed to take all of Nikken's technologies that Nikken has worked with, Nikken's core technologies that Nikken has worked with over the course of the last 50 years, and combine them into one device. And then we add the grounding capability, and or the precision grounding capability, and it's something that the world has never seen. Literally, it's something the world has never seen.
Wow. I mean, it's so incredible. I remember when you first came on a call with us at corporate to talk about this, and it was like you were just busting a gut with excitement, and your enthusiasm and excitement just transferred to me so completely. I was like, this man knows that he's got something very, very special and powerful here.
Yeah, and completely new and completely unique. And it's just so rare to come across something that is so new, so unique, and works so well, and is so demonstrable. You know, it's one thing to say, which is common, that, you know, use it and you're going to feel better, right? Like yes. All of Nikken's products, you know, you use Nikken's products and, you know, you feel better.
Yes.
And these products have just an amazing demonstrability to them. You know, you can actually measure your body voltage with a voltmeter, with a standard voltmeter, a $20 machine. You can measure, you know, your body says it's 3 volts. You know, I'm sitting close to the router and now my body voltage is really high. And then, you know, you touch this device to your body and your body voltage drops to equal a fraction of a volt, the same as the Earth. You know, and you can see it digitally. It's just this amazing thing.
Now I know you have something on YouTube around that, because I watched you do it and it was really cool.
Yeah, it's really easy to do. The machine, I actually have the machine here. This is the machine. It's just a standard voltmeter. You can get it on Amazon or at Home Depot, and they're literally $20. And it's just a really, really easy way to test your own body voltage and to show what happens to your body voltage when you use Nikken's Precision Set. Because it's dramatic and it's immediate, and it really is just it's really something to see.
It shows what's happening in the invisible world that we can't see, and it just makes it visible, and that is always super cool and fun.
Yeah, it's always super cool. The other thing that we did was we designed a new cord that plugs into a USB port.
Yes.
And this cord, obviously it's not plugged in now, but there's a little LED there that is triggered when your body is grounded, and the little light turns on when you're actually using the machine. Your own body's microcurrent triggers this light turning on.
That's fantastic. I love doing it, and I love seeing it light up. It's just quite fascinating.
Yeah, it's a neat little fun demonstration, and it's just a clear evidence that something is taking place. Other than, you know, like obviously people know that they feel better.
Yes.
But it's just kind of cool to see that, wow, you know, there actually is a transfer of energy here.
It's marvelous. It's marvelous. I mean, one of the ways I've always just described Nikken's project is like, you know, well, you can't see what's happening except with this and few things, but this is such a great way, but you can't see it. But I put it the analogy of love. It's like, you can't see love, but you know when love is present.
Yeah.
You also know when love is not present. And and then everybody goes, yeah, I get it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just an easy way, but I like it that you've made it visible for us. You know, it's really lovely. And I also like it that you can use it without plugging it in as well. So, I can take this in my handbag and use it, on my shoulders or whatever when I feel the need. If I'm going up in the mountains for a hike, I can take it and, my legs get tired.
Yeah, and even without the ground, even without the precision grounding, it has all of Nikken's core technologies built right into it.
Yes.
So it's still
Is it gonna mess with my phone if I?
Well, maybe it's possible.
Okay.
But I've been living around this for years now, and my phone has been fine.
Yeah.
But there's always a risk. You definitely don't want to use it if you have an electrical implant like a pacemaker or something like that. All the standard. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Pumps. Yeah. All those kind of things.
Right.
I am so thrilled that we have this. I honestly think it's huge, and I hope that all consultants understand the power of it, use it because it's in the use of it, and take it places. And when somebody's not feeling great or whatever, say, hey, let me focus on you. Let me do this. Your finger that you just hurt, whatever.
Right.
And let's see how you do.
Right. And the results are quick. The results are quick. And Nikken is always so humble with the claims that are made, and rightfully so. Nikken, for 50 years, Nikken has been under promising and over delivering, and this is no exception. And I'm no one to speak about what claims should be made with reference to these products, but for massage therapy products, there's a lot that can be said just for massage. Yes. We can talk about stimulating localized blood flow. We can talk about reducing muscle tension and anxiety and stiffness and you can go onto Google and just look at some of the massage therapy associations and what they talk about, because massage has so much to offer. Just massage has so much to offer, and what Nikken has done is piled on all of these other technologies on top of that. Wow. To create a massage therapy device that takes all of the classical claims of massage and just kind of multiplies that out.
That's a great way to say it. Multiplies it out. I love that. Yeah. I mean, clearly it's a breakthrough technology, and Nikken's always been into unique breakthrough technologies that nobody has and everybody needs. And of course, that's what makes our business so very thrilling, is to bring to market these kind of amazing, brilliant technologies and say, hey, everyone, nobody's got this. We've got it. Come be a part of it and help take it to the world, which is what we're all about, is helping our world to be better, to be healthier, to help people understand they really do have the abilities to take care of their own health with nature. Right.
And help yourself through helping others.
Absolutely, Jeremy. Beautifully said. Absolutely. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm simplistic, but I think we're all here really to serve, to love one another, to serve, to help each other in this world. And if we do things with the right heart and the right mindset, the benefits are multifold. We don't have to worry about what comes back. The universe will reward us for doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. What a pleasure, Jeremy. This has been marvelous to have you. I've been so excited about doing this podcast with you for ages. And yeah, thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're a super busy man. Thank you for your brilliance and genius. I'm going to call it genius. You may not, but I will.
And well, thank you, Julie. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. And it's always a pleasure to sit down with you. Hopefully we can do it over and over.
Absolutely. I would love that. And I hope everyone, and I'm sure every one of you listening to this podcast has got so much out of it. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. You can go on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts. We also put this on the Nikken International YouTube channel so that you can translate to other languages, and you can also comment there, so feel free to do that. And share with your team and share with the world, because Nikken is all about, sharing. It's sharing good news. So thank you, Jeremy, again. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.